You're here. Okay, kayo pala yun. Dahil nandito confirmed eh. Okay, sige pa. Maraming salamat. Sumunod.
Madam Chair, from the Philippine National Police, we are joined...
Teka lang. Committee Secretary, wala po si Director General Anyo?
wala po, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Ang sumunod, si General Browner, wala rin po.
Ma'am, nandito po.
Saan siya? Hindi ko po nakikita. Andito ba? Ang Chief of Staff natin, narito po.
Assalamualaikum.
Uy, Robin. Yes, the Chair acknowledges the presence of Senator Robin Padilla. Si Chief of Staff, narito ba? Wala.
Yes, ma'am. He's supposed to arrive and his advance party is already here, ma'am.
But I don't see him in the room. Okay lang. Sumunod, si Lieutenant General Cordura, narito po. Ng PAF, wala. Georgie Bravo, Colonel, wala rin. Dr. Palma, Dr. Rico,
Not here, ma'am.
opo. And Department of Defense, wala rin po.
Wala po.
Sige. Saan ka magsimula? Sa PCTC?
Yes, Madam Chair. We are joined from the Philippine Center of Transnational Crime, Executive Director Lieutenant General Anthony Alcantara. Sir. From the Philippine National Police, we are joined today by Chief PNP Police General Romel Francisco Marbil, sir. And with him is Police Major General Nicolas Torre III, sir. With them, likewise, Madam Chair, is Police Brigadier General Jean Fajardo. Also from the Philippine National Police Contingent is the Nurse Officer Police Major Imee Marcos. Moving on from the Department of Foreign Affairs, we are joined by the Honorable Secretary Enrique A. Manalo.
Pasensya. Major Cantayoso, asan po? Can you come forward, please? Tokaya, dito ka. So, yung iba pang confirm dito, si General Salvador, General Gurat, wala po.
Wala pa
Colonel
po.
Pestaño, wala pa yan.
Wala pa po, ma'am.
Okay. The chair also recognizes the arrival of Senator Bato de la Rosa, Ronald. And yung ating medical doctor, Paulo Calma,
Not here, ma'am.
not here. Okay, sa DFA po.
With your permission, ma'am, Department of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Secretary Enrique A. Manalo, sir. With him is Undersecretary Eduardo De Vega and Attorney Paul Saret. From the Department of Migrant Workers, we are joined by Honorable Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak. From the Office of the Deputy Executive Secretary for Finance and Administration of the Office of the President, Assistant Executive Secretary Attorney Marvin Cañero.
Teka, andito si Yusek De Vega, Secretary Manalo, Attorney Saret. Ay, nandiyan ka pala sa likod. Okay, pasensya. Kakdak. Okay. Admin Ignacio Awan ni Arnel. Ay, wala si
Wala po.
Arnel.
Wala, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, sumunod. Yes?
From the taking off, ma'am, from the Office of the Deputy Executive Secretary for Finance and Administration, Assistant Executive Secretary Attorney Marvin Cañero.
Teka, sina DILG wala rito, si Secretary John Vic wala, nag-regrets.
Wala, ma'am.
Ganon din si Solgen, wala rin.
Wala din po, ma'am.
Okay, so yung sumunod si Attorney Marvin Cañero. Oo, nandito ka rin nung first time, ano? Wala, first time ka pumunta. Okay, salamat. Okay. Sige, sumunod.
Likewise confirmed from the Office of the Special Envoy on Transnational Crime, Special Envoy Marcos.
Teka, yung OTS, DOTC.
Ma'am, there is no confirmation and
Yung Administrator Bisnar, wala rito.
wala po, Madam Chair.
Kaap,
They have confirmed, ma'am, pero wala pa po dito ngayon.
okay. Yes, please proceed.
From the Office of Special Envoy on Transnational Crime, Special Envoy Marcos V. Lacanilao. From the Securities and Exchange Commission, Chief Counsel for Company Registration and Monitoring Department, Attorney R.J.A. Bernal. Sir. And with him is Attorney Ferdinio Logi Santiago. We likewise are joined this afternoon by the Honorable Justice Adolfo S. Ascuna, Jr. of the Supreme Court of the Philippines. We also have Attorney Martin Delgra III via Zoom, Madam Chair. And finally, we have Attorney Alexis F. Medina. Good morning, sir. That is all, Madam Chair.
Itatanong ko lang, Captain Gulia is not here, the pilots. Captain Elmo Segovia, wala rin.
Not here, Madam Chair.
Okay, Flight Officer Wenny Lynn Salcepuedes, wala rin.
Wala din po, ma'am.
At Flight Officer Elinino Santos, wala rin.
Wala din po, Madam Chair.
Okay, tapos yung presidente ng Challenger Aero Air Corporation, Mr. Ferdinand Constantino, wala rin.
Wala din po, Madam Chair.
Okay, so lahat yan what?
That is all, Madam Chair. Magandang hapon po.
Yes, we recognize and acknowledge the arrival of Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Maraming salamat. At I simply will repeat, maybe you've forgotten, you were unable to come during the second hearing. Sa ating agenda, maliwanag naman, unang-una, the clarification of the involvement of the ICC, the Interpol, and the various government agencies in the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte. Confirmation that measures were taken to ensure that the rights of the former president under domestic law and relevant treaties were properly protected throughout the process, and such other matters that may aid the committee in crafting necessary legislation in the coordination between Philippine authorities and international tribunals and law enforcement organizations. At kinikilala rin natin si Dr. Donald Palma ng PNP at si Senator Bongo na lalahok sa Zoom. So, andito na tayong lahat. Maraming salamat sa pagdalo ninyo. Sa wakas, inaantabayanan kayo ng buong sambayanan. Inaasahan ko, palibasan narito na rin kayo, handa na rin kayo magsabi ng katotohanan at ilahad lahat ng detalye na kinakailangan natin para alamin ang totoong nangyari nung tinangay ang ating dating Pangulo, Presidente Duterte. Sa ganitong paraan, tatanungin ko sa ating committee secretary na kung sakali yung oath of the resource person should now be administered. Those who were not present at the last hearing, ang mga bago dito si Ambassador Lacanilao, sa palagay ko si Yusek De Vega, Secretary Manalo, wala po rito. Yung iba wala rin, si ang ating nurse Cantayoso, sino pa? Si Apocalma. Yes, Secretary Kaknak, wala po kayo dati. Attorney Cañero, wala rin po. Attorney R.G. Bernal, si Justice Ascona. Kung maaari kayong tumayo at sumumpa sa atin, Richard Padulyon rin po.
Kindly raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in the Senate investigation? Thank you. Madam Chair, the oath has been administered.
Yes, maraming salamat. Maraming ibinunyag nung nakaraang hearing. Kaya't mag-umpisa tayo kay Secretary Remula with a very simple question. Is the Constitution the supreme law over all other laws? Simple lang po.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is also supreme over all other treaties.
Yes, ma'am.
Kapag nagkaroon ng conflict sa Constitution at yung Rome Statute, alin ang maghahari?
The Constitution prevails.
Kapag may pag-iiba sa saligang batas at yung RA 9851, alin ang mangingibabaw?
Ang saligang batas po.
Parati ang saligang batas, di po ba? Maliwanag
Yes, ma'am.
ho yun. The President has been saying that the country was just complying with obligations and commitments to the Interpol in arresting and turning over the former President to the ICC. For the nth time, liwanagan na lang natin, a red notice from the Interpol is not a warrant of arrest. Is that correct? Perhaps the PCTC can help us here.
Tama po kayo, Madam Chair. Ang red notice po ay hindi siya ang warrant of arrest.
At ang pagka-alam ko, nung November 21, 2024, may nakita ako pero hindi ko na mahanap ngayon, biglang nawala sa ating website, sa DOJ website, isang legal opinion tungkol sa UAE na sinasaad na hindi maaring ang Pilipino ay hindi hayaan umuwi, ano? Maliwanag po 'yun. Kaya't nagtataka ako kung baka naman si Attorney Chan may kopya pa nun kasi ikaw raw yata yung author. November 21, ito tungkol sa UAE to. Walang kinalaman dito sa kay PRRD.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. I do not recall having issued a specific opinion on that date, Your Honor. If,
Would you recall number 50? A memo number 50. It's no longer in the website for some mysterious
opinion
reason.
number 50?
If you could just look it up, we'd be very grateful
We'll
and
get
we'd
back
like
to you
to have
on
a
that
copy.
within the afternoon, Madam
Sige,
Chair.
Attorney Chan, maraming salamat. Ngayon, yung tinatanong ng lahat, yung obligasyon sa ilalim ng isang treaty, ibig sabihin ba, ligtas na sa ating Bill of Rights, sa mga karapatan pantao? Ibig ko sabihin, kapag may obligasyon ng Pilipinas sa ICC, sa Interpol, do we still have to comply with the Bill of Rights that guarantees the rights to the accused and to the arrested?
That's a given.
Certainly, the Bill of Rights is there precisely to limit the powers of the government, and if the government can circumvent the Bill of Rights by just entering a treaty, then the rights guaranteed under Article 3 of the Constitution are no longer secure, hindi po ba? So, can compliance with the ICC obligations allow the government to disregard the Bill of Rights? Hindi po ba? Maliwanag po yun. At for the same reason na talaga ang nangingibabaw sa lahat ay yung ating konstitusyon. So kahit papano napilitan na maaresto at itangay ang dating Pangulo sa ICC dahil daw sa ilang obligasyon, pandaigdigan, kinakailangan talagang sumunod pa rin tayo sa ating saligang batas, lalo na yung Article 3. Talagang sagrado po yun, di po ba? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So, ang tanong namin at tanong ng lahat ng sambayanan, bakit ang pamahalaan, ang administrasyon, hindi muna kumuha ng court-issued warrant galing sa Pilipinas bago inaresto si Presidente Duterte? Why didn't the administration secure a court order before flying the President out of the country? Nung last hearing, may sinasabi si Secretary Remula na yung nangyari surrender, hindi extradition. At hindi katulad ng extradition, sa surrender, hindi kinakailangan mag-issue ng warrant of arrest para damputin ang dating Pangulo. Tama po ba yun? Kasi yun ang sinabi nyo dati nung
Mga extradition kasi, hindi ho natin pwedeng gamitin dito sabagat hindi tayo pwede mag-file ng extradition dahil nasa atin po yung tao. Ang extradition po na sinasabi ng batas ay yung court o yung arresting state, yung state pala na may warrant ang mag-file ng extradition sa Pilipinas. Kaya surrender lang po talaga ang option natin. Wala ho tayong ibang option.
Kabisado ko po yan. Panahon pa ng tatay ko yung extradition law natin. Ako yata nag-type nung bata. Ang tanong dito, under surrender, there's no need for a Philippine court to issue a warrant. Ang sabi po ninyo, that's the stand of the government. Is that
Opo,
correct?
iyan po yung aming stand.
Does this not contravene the Bill of Rights that we've already agreed upon as being sacred and above all else, particularly the right of deprivation of liberty without due process,
Yung due process
the
po
right
kasi,
of liberty of abode?
kasi ang due process po rito, yung sa issuing body, yung nag-issue po na warrant of arrest if they observe due process. Ang alam po natin, 7 taon pong inimbestigahan itong kasong to, nagbigay po ng notice to sa mga kinauukulan na maaari nilang kasuhan. At pinayagan sila sumagot. Alam ko po yan na binigyan sila ng notice, may mga tanong na binigay sa kanila, pinayagan po sila sumagot. Kung ayaw po nila sumagot,
7
is our
taon
own
ito
look
sa
what-
ibang bansa, hindi 7 taon dito sa Pilipinas.
Opo, habang tayo po isaklaw ng ICC,
Hindi pa rin saklaw yan sa ating batas.
Hindi,
Kasi
ano ho?
ayon sa ating batas,
Hindi, habang tayo po ay saklaw ng ICC, binigyan na po ng due process yung mga tao.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
can I interject?
Senator De La Rosa, please.
May I know from the good secretary, saan kayo nakakuha ng information na yan? Na
7 years.
yung mga
Ganun ho kasi
souvenirs
ang-
binigyan ng tanong, pinapasagot yung mga akusado. Saan po kayo nakakuha ng informasyon na yan?
Tsaka sinusubukan po nilang kausapin. Yun po yung alam ko. Talagang,
I'm asking about yung sinabi mo kanina.
natural po yan, nakalakaran, kasi kahit anong korte po, ay binibigyan ng pagkakataon na sumagot ang tao sa mga paratang sa kanya.
I was not,
Senator Bato, nakalista ka. Binigyan ka ba ng pagkakataon noong nakaraang 7 taon na sumagot sa anumang alegasyon?
meron nag-communicate sa opisina ko na gusto akong kausapin. So that's it. Hanggang doon lang.
Siguro hindi.
Kinausap niyo ba ho?
Process.
Kasi kung kinausap niyo, marahil ay sinabi na sa inyo yung nais na sabihin.
Bakit ko kausapin? Sinabi mo na nga na hindi niyo recognize yung jurisdiction ng ICC. Kayo mismo, from DOJ. Ilang bisis mo sinasabi noon, Madam Chair, na hindi na recognize. Ako pa, i-recognize ko na ako mismo ang kinakasuhan?
Meron
Kayo na
ho
nga,
kasi-
gobyerno na kayo. Kayo na nagsasabi na hindi nyo na-recognize. Bakit ako pa mag-recognize?
Meron po kasing residual powers ang ICC eh. Yun po
Sabi
yung
ninyo, 1 taon lang yung residual power.
Oho,
So,
pero
bakit
yung
2019 to 2020
yung buong ano ho,
bilang
yung
yun?
buong panahon na dumaan mula 2011 hanggang 2018, ito po ay panahon na meron pong jurisdiction ng ICC sa ating bansa, sa ating mga citizen. Ngunit katapos nun, nawala na ho yung itong, hindi na ho na natin maaring kilalanin sapagkat umatras po tayo sa pamagitan sa ICC nung inatras po ni President Duterte noong 2017 na naging effective lamang noong 2018.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, Senator Bato.
Siguro, Secretary Remula, you are aware about yung dalawang dissenting opinion na sinabi ng dalawang miyembro ng pre-trial chamber ng ICC na nagsasabi na yung jurisdiction, about temporal jurisdiction, ang magti-trigger lamang ng investigation is yung paghihingi ng pag-request ng permission ng prosecutor to the ICC. At ito'y ginawa nila 2 years after nag-effect yung ating withdrawal from the ICC. Ginawa po nila yan 2 years. Kaya nga dalawang dissenting opinion yun eh. So sana, kung tayo, if you want to interpret yung itong mga bagay-bagay na ito, sana we have to interpret it in favor of our people. Tao natin ito eh. Pilipino ito. Bakit natin papaboran yung mga foreigner na mga banyaga na yan? Sila na nga nagsabi. It was the request for to conduct investigation was triggered 2 years after nag-effect yung ating withdrawal. But then again, Madam Chair, I will leave it at that. Please continue.
Yes, Senator Cayetano, please.
Just a manifestation on that point, and of course, our friend, the DOJ Secretary, can rebut or give a retort. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Justice Ascuna, thank you very much po for giving us time and being here today. Actually, isang main contention siguro yung residual power sa case sa Supreme Court, and as the Justice Secretary said, it's sub judice, and of course everyone will be waiting for the decision of the Supreme Court. Ang point ko lang kasi, both sides, the pro-Duterte, anti-Duterte, want accountability. The pro-Duterte feels that the accountability is the drug lords, etc. And if President Duterte did something that amounts to a crime, pero ang accountability dapat dito sa Pilipinas at tamang proseso. So doon naman sa gustong i-hold, anti-Duterte, gusto siyang i-hold accountable, siguro naman ay it's safe to assume that they also want yung tamang proseso. So the thing is, there was an actual Supreme Court case, the Pangilinan versus Cayetano, questioning, I think the Secretary of Foreign Affairs noon, kaya named, questioning nga yung kung kailangan ng Senate concurrence yung withdrawal ng natin from the Rome Statute, no, from yung ICC. Pero nakalagay din dun sa case na yon, let me paraphrase, that the Supreme Court can continue to review yung actions nung executive. So my problem with yung interpretation dun sa residual powers, kasi nga, di ba, sa 5 judge sa ICC, yung 2 nagsabing, wala kaming jurisdiction. Kasi nung sinimulan namin yan, tapos na dun sa residual na 1 year. But 3 justices said na pwede. So my problem kasi is walang World Supreme Court eh. So there's only the ICC Court, then the Appellate Court. Unlike kung dito natin final sa judiciary natin, then yung interpretation whether they still have jurisdiction or not would have been done under Philippine law, and President Duterte would have been able to present his case not only as to jurisdiction but as to whether or not there is probable cause. So I'll stop there, Madam Chair, and again, I think this is a point of disagreement, but I just like to manifest that, no, that we can argue back and forth whether or not may jurisdiction ng ICC, and the reality is nandun na si President Duterte. But for future cases, whether it's Senator Bato or others named, I gave 2 examples. No, if suddenly there's a witness from Marawi and they said that our troops killed children and women, and then nag-issue ng arrest ang ICC, or if the military suddenly uncovers a mass grave in any part of the country and says na nilibing yan during 2011 to 2015, I want to know whether the ICC can issue a warrant and then pwedeng idiretso na silang i-expel, i-deport, or whatever we call it. And I guess in the finality, Secretary, is that the Supreme Court will rule on that. No? But just to clarify matters, I want to put that on record, that that's what I want clarified. Madam Chair, thank you.
Maraming salamat kay Senator Cayetano. Gusto ko lang ipaalala, and I think Executive Director Alcantara is here. In the diffusion notice, if we will recall, on the second page, apakaliwanag na nakalagay with a view to extradition. Walang binabanggit na surrender. With a view to extradition and assurances given that extradition will be sought. 2 beses inulit ng Interpol to. Extradition is explicit. Secretary Remula, kung obligasyon natin, ang obligasyon natin, extradition. Pati yung Interpol, yan ang sabi.
Sila ho ang magka-file ng extradition, hindi po tayo. Hindi ho namin option yon. Yun po, option po nila yon. Hindi namin option yon. Kasi ang option lang po namin, surrender lang. At sasagutin natin ang extradition kung sila po ay mag-file. Under the law po.
Liwanagin natin, ang surrender option kapag foreign national. Ang liwaliwanag po niyan nandito sa ating batas, at hindi rin kayo nag-intay ng request for extradition, even though only 12 to 15 hours as measured by...
Wala pong particular reference yung 9851 sa foreigner. Ito po sa offender lang ho, sa accused. Yun lang po ang reference ng 9851.
Makikita natin, kasi kinalkal na natin dito sa Senado, nanggaling rin sa Senado yan, na ang nakasaad sa Article 17, yung dulo, RA 9851, talagang maliwanag na surrender para sa foreign national. Ilang beses na rin pinaliwanag ni Attorney Medina yan sa first and second hearing, na maliwanag na para sa foreign national yan. Kaya mukhang malabo ito.
Sa interpretation po yun, hindi ho sa batas yun.
nasa transcript po, ang liwaliwanag, may amendment si Senator Subiri at the time, nakalista lahat ng bill spending, pare-pareho po ang referral sa foreign lang, hindi po pwede sa Pilipino. Hindi bale, tulad nga ng sinabi ni Senator Cayetano, we agree to disagree, hindi po pwede para sa amin, maliwanag. And I'd like to call on Justice Ascuna at this juncture. Reference has been made to RA 9851, yung Article 17 nga na sinasabi, na sa ngayon, hindi na yung Rome Statute kasi post-2019 na tayo, no? So, ang huling kataga, pursuant to the applicable extradition laws and treaties. It's very clear, it's the last sentence of Article 17. And in an interview, the former Supreme Court Justice Adolfo Ascuna opined that surrender must be made pursuant to an applicable treaty. And since the Philippines is no longer a party to the Rome Statute, what then is the applicable treaty? Wala nang treaty. Dahil ang ini-invoke nga yung Rome Statute, wala na ngayon. Siguro si Justice Ascuna mas mahusay magpaliwanag.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Regarding the applicable provisions, the justification given by government for the surrender of former President Rodrigo Duterte to the ICC consists of two grounds. One is the warrant of arrest issued by the ICC and served through the protocol of the Interpol. The other is Section 17 of Republic Act 9851, which is the Philippine IHL law, and which provides that if a person is already being investigated for the crimes covered by this act, which includes crimes against, which includes the crimes for which President Duterte is being charged, is already being investigated by an international tribunal. The relevant Philippine authorities may surrender such person to the international tribunal, but it adds pursuant to the applicable extradition laws and treaties. Ngayon, ang tanong, ito bang last sentence na ito, which provides for the requirement that the surrender should be pursuant to applicable treaties, is still applicable since we don't have anymore the Rome Statute. Sa palagay ko po ay it's either we have the Rome Statute or not. If we don't have a treaty, then we cannot surrender the suspect to the ICC under this section, because this section requires that the surrender be pursuant to a treaty. Pursuant means in accordance with. And so if there is no treaty, in my view, we cannot make a surrender. On the other hand, if there is still a treaty that is due to the residual obligations that the Philippines may have even after withdrawal, pursuant to Article 127, Paragraph 2 of the Rome Statute, after withdrawal, the withdrawing state still obliged to cooperate with the ICC in relation to matters already under consideration by the court prior to withdrawal. So again, you go back to the question, is the Philippine situation something already under consideration by the court, by the ICC, prior to our withdrawal? In my view, Madam Chair, the answer is yes, because as of February 8, 2018, prior to our withdrawal, Fatou Bensouda, the former ICC prosecutor, already said that the Philippine situation is under preliminary examination as of that date. question is whether or not the prosecutor is the court, because 127 paragraph 2 says under consideration by the court. And in my view, it is, because there are four principal organs of the ICC. The first is the presidencies. There's one president and two vice presidents. The second are the judicial divisions. The third is the office of the prosecutor. And the fourth is the registrar. So the office of the prosecutor is part of the court. Therefore, when Article 127, paragraph 2 says the matter must be under consideration by the court at the time before withdrawal, it includes consideration by the prosecutor. And so therefore, I believe we have residual obligations even after withdrawal. Question therefore is whether or not the warrant of arrest issued by the ICC after our withdrawal is something we have to cooperate with under 127 paragraph 2. In my view, yes. And therefore, in my view, the warrant of arrest is legal. However, I believe that the surrender is not, because the surrender must be pursuant to a treaty, and therefore our own law, Section 17 of Republic Act 9851, brought back the Statute of Rome, even after withdrawal, because it requires that a surrender must be pursuant to the applicable treaty. And therefore, in this case, the applicable treaty remains the Statute of Rome. And thus, we have to follow Article 59 of the Statute of Rome, which requires that the custodial state, namely the Philippines, must first bring the arrested person to a local court to determine two things: whether or not the person is really the one named in the warrant; second, whether or not the person has been informed of the charges against him or her. This was not done. Therefore, there was, in my view, a violation in the act of surrender. However, Madam Chair, this is in the forum of the Philippines, but in the forum of the ICC, different rules apply. The rule in international law, Madam Chair, is that procedural laws are governed by the forum. So procedural safeguards are applicable only